All right, so my name is Kiade Adetunji. I am the founder of Caesar Graphics Academy and Caesar Graphics. And today, I have designs from the creative members. Okay, so what I'm going to be checking on today's designs is contrast, layout, and how the designer was able to tell the story the right way. Because those are the in fact, three key things that you need to put in place when working on design projects. Okay, so I have my very first design here, and what I notice here is that the project is boring, and I wish this designer is watching this video so you can understand the area you need to work on. Okay. Okay. So the first thing that made this look boring is the lack of contrast. All right. The contrast is dull. Now, so many of us always think whenever we're working on design project and then we say contrast, it means I should just make something different from every other information on the design project. Yes, that's what you need to do. But when it comes to telling the right story, that thing that you're making different on the poster or on the design should pass the right message. You should explain what the event is about. And this is what I'm trying to say here. Now, this artwork is talking about waves of worship. I expect to see this title look more abstract than what we have here because the way it is here, it looks boring. The space between these two words here is too much. All right, the space here is too much. So it would have make more sense if this is closer to this, and then we now have this next to this. Now we can now find a way to play with one of these words here. Just make it, maybe change the font style or maybe change the color, and just make it a bit playful. But when you're making it playful, because you need to be very careful because this is a worship service, so you need to now do it in such a way that it has to have that worship feel. I'm talking of something maybe like using a script type for the worship text. All right, now it's not compulsory you use script type only on the worship text, but I'm just using the script type as an example here. All right, I'm just trying to let you understand that making your title, more a bit playful on worship poster artwork is still going to make it look interesting. And then the other thing I notice here that is, bad here is is this white plenty space that we have here. All right, it's not really okay. And another thing that affected the success of this design is too many different alignments. Because if you look at this information here, this is flushed left, and this one is flushed right. And if right here, this is not well aligned, and these are things that always affect the success of our design. And then we also have this side too at the center of the frame here with the logo, and then this logo here is too small. Okay, so what I would advise this person to work on, all right, is one is helping your contrast pass the right message, making your contrast interesting enough to make to make it interesting enough to give the project life. All right, so I noticed that is one part of the things you need to work on, and then avoiding too many white space like this. I don't expect to see these effects. I don't expect to see this. All right, I don't expect to see this because most time when we do this, it's always looking like this information. This information here is different from what is here. So I would advise you blend what is here. You blend it with, you blend this background with this, and then you now have your, information under, on it. All right. So please avoid this because most time white color like this, when we have too many white color like this on our project, it always calls for attention more than the darker part on our project. So if this is the important information on the design project, I expect this to even look more brighter, this background to look more brighter than what we have here. All right, so I'm going to stop here on that. Now go straight to the next design. Now, the problem I have with this is the use of the number one, the type of color used, and then the layout. Now, most time, part of what always affects our design project not to make it look successful is when the layout is not balanced. So and part of what always affects not making good design, not making design balance, is when the white space is when there's something wrong with the white space on the design project. And that's what I noticed this designer did not do well. Make this, all right, the speakers, make them next to each other. Put them next to each other, and you see your project looking the way you want it. And then the other thing I notice again here is that the way the blue color, the background here is too heavy. So what I would advise next time when working on design project with this type of color, next time is reduce the saturation. All right, I'm going to quickly do that. Okay, no, sorry, let's just cut this out. My intention was to cut this out and place it next to this, but let me see if I can just quickly. I'm going to add hue saturation now, and I'm just going to click on this, or maybe let's just go to straight to blue. Okay, it's already on blue, and I'm going to just going to dial this, down and just reduce this, like so. All right. So this is the before, and this is the after. So then, so what I said is I would have preferred us having the speakers next to each other. Okay, so this can come here. All right, and this is going to serve as our last design for today. All right, so the issue I have with this is the first off, the layout. The layout is not really okay because everything here is too is too close. All right, everything is too close to each other. And another thing I notice again is the playing with type the wrong way. This making the M and the T connect here is wrong. We identify type by their look. We use shape to identify type. But when you now alter the look of that shape, you are going to change the message. You don't tamper with the look of type. I know you're trying to make the project look interesting, but you now need to be very careful with the way you play with type. There are different ways you can play with type on your design project, but you now playing with the shape is not professional. So I advise you stop that. Okay, and then another thing I noticed is the alignment, or the flushing left and right on the project, because I noticed here that the name here is facing left, the time here is at the center, the address is at the center, this date here is on the left side, the theme, which is the title, is on the center of the frame. There's no connection here at all, because if this is what is making everything here visible, I expect to see the same color from this lantern on my background. Graphic design, there's something called unity where graphic design is concerned, where making the element on your design project work together. When you don't do this correctly, there will be this separation on the project, and this is not good where graphic design is concerned. So if you're trying to say this is what illuminates the background and every other information on this project, I expect to see the same color from here on the background. So we're going to redesign this, and I'm going to share how I was able to make my version of this design successful. Now I'm not going to use the same element from this project because I didn't design it, so I don't have the element used on the project. Okay, so I'm going to create. I already created a new document, and I had to I went online and download all these elements that I am going to be using on the project. So I'm going to drag my background in like so, and remember what I said previously, that I expect to see something that shows light, something that gives brightness to a particular environment or an environment. And that's the reason why I decided to use this image here, because without sunlight, I'm sure you all know what's going to happen. Okay, So so that's the reason why I decided to use this image. So I'm going to make this real big. So I'm going to paste that here, and the font I'm going to be using here is going to be Helvetica Neue, and I'm going to use the heavy extended here, and I'll break this. Okay, activate the free transform, and I'll make this bigger, like so. All right, all right. So then I'm going to choose the color from my background. Then I'll go to my color picker here and just pick this color here and hit the OK button. All right, now it looks as if my text is not looking interesting, like it's covering the light effect. So we're going to bring the light effect back. So then I'm going to drag the light image I got from the internet here, and this should be somewhere here, and I'm going to scale this down and hit screen, and this should be on this, like this, and I'm still going to make this a bit smaller, just like so. All right, so now the idea here is to make it look like the effect of the sun is what we're looking at on the title. Another thing we can do in order to make this look more interesting is to just add a layer mask to the title and select the brush tool. Just reduce this and make sure that your foreground is set to black, like mine here. All right, now if your foreground is not set to black, you can just click on this button and you're going to achieve the same move. Then you can just click once, like so, and then we have this, and I'm just going to paste that here. And for this I'm going to use white because using the same color with the title, when we have the address smaller, is not going to be visible. So it's better I use something that will stand out on a darker background. So I'm going to use bold for this, and I'm going to make this be on one line. All right, and this can be let's say Roman. We don't want any tracking. Net. If you need the exercise file of this training, you can make use of the link in the description section of this video. Okay, so let's see. I think I should use extended here, and this can be bold. All right, now this is another mistake I noticed that the designer made on the initial design. This amount of here is too tiny, so I'll go back to show you. See, the one on the initial design is smaller and is a bit lost, and this information here is as important as the illumination itself. So I'm going to go back to the project and position this here, just this, but this time I'm going to use bold. And okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my guides. All right, because guide is very important where making your design balance is concerned. So I'm going to move this here, or let's just make it 35. Okay, so everything should be 35. So this should be here. So all right, make a copy of this again. All right, and I'm going to select the three layers. All right, and hit Ctrl J again to duplicate it and just position this here. And since this is for Wednesday, so I'm just gonna make this 6 p.m. Yep, and I'm gonna copy Wednesdays. Zoom in this here, like so, and so we can now use the same color again, and yeah, I think this is okay. Or let's just use Roman here. All right, this is good. Okay, now our guide is affecting the visibility of the project, but we are going to fix that later. We're going to take it out when we're done. All right, so I'm going to drag the minister's picture in here, like so. This can be here, like so. Draw a shape here. Now make sure that your shape is resting on. Okay, so this is it here. So I'll just double click here and just paste this, and I'll hit enter and hit the enter key, and I'm gonna make this smaller. Okay, like so, and just move this up a bit. You can even change this to Roman. All right. So now if I hit Control H, we'll have this. This is the final look of the project, and I think it's still this is looking better than the yeah, it is so. Right. All right. So I hope you guys. I'm going to stop here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this training. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Also subscribe if you're new. All right. So I'll see you again in the next. Peace. All right.